God. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Are we online?
Yes. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Gurudeva, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. We can hear you, Gurudev, and see you too.
Huh?
We can hear you and see you both.
Okay, but you can't understand what I'm thinking. Let's see. What do you see? You see my picture, or you see the screen, or?
I see your picture, Gurudeva.
Yeah, I'm trying to share my screen, but it won't allow it. Okay. For some reason it won't. Let's try. Okay. Okay.
Entire screen. Oh, the share is not enabled.
Yeah.
Strange. That's the video. Let's cancel for now. That's the video, Guru.
Yeah, I'm turning it off.
Okay. Can you select that? Click. Okay, now share. Okay.
Okay.
That was the problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you can turn on the video.
Okay. Okay. Jai Shri Shri Guru Garanga Krishna Baladev Radhashama Sundar Ki Jai. I guess go to meeting. Record. Oh, you can show your hand.
This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome to the Anjana Sutta Academy, daily Srimad Bhagavatam class. And today is 2021, July 14th, and we are here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Okay. And we're here with, why not? Srinivasacharya Das, Sugopi Radha Devi Dasi, and Sundar Radhika Devi Dasi, and the piano. Okay. Who has more teeth than all of us, right?
There's a monkey.
Oh yeah, there's a monkey on the corner who's reading. Okay, we're not sure what he's reading though. So, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari. Gopi Janabalama Girivara Dori.
Gopi Janabalama Girivara Dori.
Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vana Chari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari. Gopi Janabalava Girivara Dari. Yashoda Raghuranandana Braja Janaranjana. Ah. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama, Rama. Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari. Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Astasaki ki jai. Lalita Devi, Vishaka Devi, Sudevi, Ranga Devi, Indulekha, Champakalata, Chitra, and Tungavidya, Devidasi ki jai. Narayanam Namaskrityam, Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Hey, Srinivasa Charyadas, can you turn off that light? It's like, yeah. Oh, well, that's much better. Okay, yeah. Okay, so Krishna is pervasive in everything. Maya titam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham tis prabhasitaha. Okay, so we've been going through the Bhagavatam, wandering through the Bhagavatam, because Krishna is Jamuna Tira Vanachari, and we started off and we gave a class on 444. Okay, and last night we gave a class on 555. So now we can give a class on. Which is also the name of the devil, by the way, in Christian theology. 666 is the devil. So let's look here at 666. It's exciting, huh? Okay. Okay. Please repeat. Kakuda Sankatash Tasya Ki Katastana Yo Yataha Bhuva Durganiyameyaha Svargo Nandis Tato Bhavat. Please chant Srinivasji. Kakuda Sankatastasya Kikatastanayo Yataha Bhuva Durganiyameyaha Svargo Nandis Tato Bhavat. One of the devotees online can chant. Don't be shy.
Kakudaha Sankatastasya
Kakuda Sankatastasya
Kikatastanayo Yataha
Kikatastanayo Yataha
Bhuvo Durgani Jume Yaha
Bhuvo Durganiyameyaha
Swargo Nandis Tato Bhavat.
Swargo Nandis Tato Bhavat. The ladies here? Chant. Kakuda sankatastasya. Kikatas tanayo yataha. Bhuvo durgane yameyaha. Swargo nandi stato bhavat. Kakudaha. From the womb of Kakud. Shankataha. Shankata.
Sangata.
Oh, can you close your microphone? Yeah. Yeah. Tasya. From him. Somebody microphone open there. Whose microphone's open? Yeah. 1 second there. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Waiting. Okay. Somebody's microphone's open. I guess it's all closed now. We're getting some echo if you do that. Okay, we'll continue then with the Bhagavatam, light of the Bhagavat. Tasya. From him.
From him.
Okay. Please, por favor, cerrar su micrófono. Can you close your microphone? Somebody's microphone is open. Yeah. We will just repeat here. Solamente vamos a repetir aquí. Kikataha. Kikata. Tanaya. Son. Yataha. From whom? Bhuvaha. Of the earth. Durgani. Many demigods. Protectors of this universe. Which is called Durga. Yameyaha. Of Yami. Swargaha. Swarga. Nandihi. Nandi. Tataha. From him. Swarga. Yeah. Abhavat. Yeah. Was born. Kakuda sankatashtasya kikatas tanayo yataha. Bhuvo durgani yameyaha. Swargo nandis tato bhavet. And this is Sukadeva Goswami talking to Maharaj Parikshit. He says, from the womb of Kakud came the son named Shankata, whose son was named Kikata. From Kikata came the demigods named Durga. And from Yami came the son named Swarga. Okay. Came the son named Swarga, whose son was named Nandi. Okay. So this is interesting because we don't have the slightest idea what people are talking about, why they're talking about it, if you read this one verse. You know? And so we have to understand the context, the idea, the perspective, why Sukadeva Goswami would invest the time in presenting this information to us, that from the womb of Kakud came the son named Sankata, whose son was Kikata. You know? People were not so concerned about this. People were not so concerned about the progeny of Ronald McDonald, you know, and Ronald McDonald's wife was so and so, like that, you know, like that. Yeah. Rita McDonald. Ronald McDonald married Rita McDonald, and their sons were the hamburgers known as so and so. Yeah. Okay. So we can look at the perspective here. Let's make it a little smaller on the screen. Minus. Okay. Then we want to go up here on the thing too. Let's look at Canto 6 then. Okay. Again, of course, we're presenting this and we're always refreshing the idea that the Bhagavatam is very logical. It's very organized according to certain questions, ideas. And from Professor Radhika Raman, other people commenting that I've seen this myself, most of Puranas don't have major commentaries or any commentary at all. And out of those, the Srimad Bhagavatam, I think, has like 140 major commentaries. You know, of course, Prabhupada's will come across as a major commentary. And then after that is the Skanda Purana, which that was 70 commentaries. So you can see Srimad Bhagavatam is like Himalaya mountains or something. Sorry, Mount Everest amongst the Himalayas. And the other Puranas, they start off talking about, somebody, then they go to gym therapy, then they go over to something else, and you can never quite figure out what they're talking about exactly. But the Bhagavatam, very, very early in the beginning, makes it very clear. Ete ankasa kala apungsang, Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. It's trying to show that there are many incarnations and portions of incarnations, but amongst all of them, Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, right? He's the original personality of Godhead himself. And then we see different kinds of incarnations, Manu avatars, Guna avatars, Lila avatars, Yuga avatars, Purusha avatars, Shakti Avesha avatars, Vibhuti-mat sattvas, right? Like the lion. The lion is a specific energetic incarnation. If we heard some scratching at the door right now, and Sugopi looked out the window and there was a lion at the door, would you let him in? What if he roared? Yeah, the whole.
I'd probably run out.
I know that. I wouldn't do that either. If a lion roars, you can hear it for miles. They're so powerful. You go, oh my goodness. Okay, so that's trying to communicate to us. Okay, somebody may say, I am God, you are a God, we are all a God, sir. You see, well, come with me to the zoo. You look at the lion, and you realize, oh my goodness. And this is just Vibhuti-mat sattva, specific energetic incarnation. And above that are the Purusha avatars, like the Paramatma. So early in the second canto, third canto, second canto, third. What is it? First canto. Okay. They ask about how Maitreya met Vidura. The sages in Naimisharanya want to hear about that meeting. Okay. And so that was in the fourth canto? Third canto is, okay. So, Well, somewhere there.
Third canto starts with Uddhava and then.
Yeah. Third canto starts off. The end of the second canto, the very end of the second canto, they want to understand about the meeting of Maitreya and Vidura. Okay. So then we have the story of Uddhava and Vidura, and then how Vidura went and met Maitreya. Then Maitreya describes the same thing. Everybody asks the same question. Okay, if there is a God, how does he create this world? How is he here now maintaining it? And in the end, what happens? Okay. So Maitreya starts to describe this to Vidura. In the course of this, he describes Swayambhuva Manu, who is supposed to produce all of the progeny. Brahma, Vishnu creates Brahma and the ingredients. Brahma takes the ingredients and produces a few primordial people. And then through his children, he wants to produce by biological reproduction, because everybody needs bodies to express their desires so they can get it out of their system. So he produces Swayambhuva Manu and Sadarupa, and she has a nice figure and he has a big mustache. It says it right there. Okay, but there's so much in the mode of goodness, or just doing austerities and penance, that they don't even have a bodily concept of life in any gross sense like that. So they say, well, look, if you want us to produce children biologically, we're going to have go down to the level of Bhumandala, and we can't do that because.
It's drowned in the Garbhodaka ocean.
Yeah, because what's his name? Hiranyaksha has kidnapped Bhumandala. So Lord Brahma has another problem. You think you have problems in your administration, managing your family, everything else. You realize that no, it's like Lord Brahma has much more difficult problems. So Lord Brahma is in anxiety and probably praying to Lord Vishnu, and what happens?
Varahadev appears.
Varahadev comes from his nose.
Yes, a little red pig comes out of his nose, floats out of his nose. Okay, so this is just about as strange as a virgin giving birth to a boy and people from the east coming to see him following a star. Okay, so many strange things happen. Yeah. So anyway, then Varaha fights with Hiranyaksha and defeats him and departs, and we get back online again. And Swayambhuva Manu has how many children?
5.
5. What are their names?
Devahuti,
Huh?
Devahuti, Akuti, Prasuti, Uttanapada, and Prayavati.
Yes, dap up. Devahuti, Akuti, Prasuti, Uttanapada, Priyapata. So first is the three Udi sisters. Devahuti, Akuti, Prasuti. Yeah. And now we've come down to the sixth canto. And where are we here? We ended up with the Prachetas, who were the descendants of, I guess, Uttanapada, in that line from Dhruva, underwater. And we had the story of everybody going to hell, which is the fifth canto. And so then in the sixth canto, Maharaj Parika says, well, hey, everybody's going to hell, and how that can be prevented, how it can be stopped. So he gives the story of Ajamil. And he's the example of how somebody, the holy name is the only way to really get these things out of your system. Otherwise, Ajamil, we think he was a nice person, so many things, but even he couldn't escape from these kind of reactions and things going on. So he becomes completely free by calling the holy name of the Lord in a helpless condition. Yes. I'm very fortunate. Yeah. And then after that, what is it? Then we have Story
of Priyavrata coming back and taking our charge.
Yeah, now we have the Hansuviya prayers.
Yeah.
And verse number 1 here says, going ahead here. Okay. This is 6 whatever, 6 something, 6:4. The blessed king said, okay, to Sukadeva Goswami, my dear Lord, the demigods, yes, demons, yes, human beings, nagas, beasts, and birds were created during the reign of Swayambhuva Manu. You have spoken about this creation briefly in the third canto. Now I wish to know about it elaborately. I also wish to know about the potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by which he brought about the secondary creation. Okay. So, of course, this is exactly what Darwin was concerned with and everybody else. Where did all the species come from? So we have our story. So the Goswami says, O great sages, assemble. Sutta Goswami said, now he's backing off from the conversation between Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami to come back to the sages of Naimisharanya. After the great yogi, Sukadeva Goswami, heard Maharaj Parikshit's inquiry, he praised it and replied thus. Okay. So now then it's a whole story of how the sons of Maharaj Prachinibhari had been off in the university, doing austerities, everything else, and sacrificing their intelligence and so on. Or in this case, they were under the water so as not to be disturbed, chanting prayers. And when they came out, what do they find?
Trees.
Huh?
Trees everywhere.
She says, trees, trees. The whole world had been taken over by the trees. One time I heard Prabhupada say that the trees are living entities who are extremely lusty and just want to eat, devour, control, But so they're put in the body of trees so they can't cause disturbances. So you can imagine if you walked out in the street and all of a sudden all the trees were turned to these extremely mad, lusty people with no clothes and chained down with one leg with an iron chain and trying to grab you and stuff. And it was just like terrifying, how they're going to get free, But that's the actual situation is these trees, why are they put in this condition? They can't go anywhere. They suffer heat and cold, bugs bite them. But because this control, this crazy desire to dominate everybody. Okay, so they came out, and what was their response to the trees? I don't know. I think fire came from their mouths. I think, yeah. I'm not sure, somewhere, yeah. So they started generating fire to burn all the trees up, and as a reaction to that, I'm asking Mara.
Moon God comes, don't do this.
Moon God, okay. So Moon God's the father of all the trees and vegetables. He said, "Oh, please don't do this and calm down." So Prabhupada says that trees that don't produce any fruits or flowers or anything else, okay, they can be used for wood and these kind of things, but we shouldn't hurt pious trees, which is very interesting. They're cutting some trees down in the neighborhood here, and I actually feel very disturbed to see this because you can see they're so big and they're so noble. And you actually begin to appreciate as a devotee all the different living entities, how they're doing things, and they're participating according to their particular nature. So then they offered them. What was her girl's name? Huh? Pramlocha was her mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was the daughter of Pramlocha Apsara, I think. Let's go, Control F. Pram. There it is. Okay, we'll do it the second time here. Text 16. My dear king, after thus pacifying the Prachetas, Soma, the king of the moon, gave them the beautiful girl born of Pramlocha. It says that brahmachari shouldn't hear these names. Yeah. Her name was Pramlocha. Sounds like right. Pramlocha Apsara. The Prachetas always see Pramlocha's daughter, who had high, very beautiful hips. Okay, that's a good qualification for selecting a wife, and married her according to the religious system. Of course, horses also have very high, beautiful hips. Okay. The womb of the girl that Prachetas all begot a son named Daksha. Okay. So, of course, Daksha was in the Daksha sacrifice and got his head cut off and got the head of a goat. But he had to take birth again because it wasn't sufficient chastisement, this one thing. So he took birth again, and he still had the same duty to do, which is interesting because we may come into this life, with a particular responsibility and stuff. And we feel right away from the very beginning, we may have certain inclinations and tendencies and stuff like that, And so Daksha had to go ahead and start producing all the biological forms of life. That's basically it. He and Mrs. Daksha, first they had one set of sons. What were their names? Haryashvas. And how many sons did they have first off? 40,000 or some 20,000? Some 40,000, some big number. It was in the tens of thousands. Let's just say 40,000. Now, of course, this is very important. This is why it brings us up nicely. We're already on the sixth canto because it was our description. Because these things, of course, are immediately rejected by the unintelligent scientists of the modern world. Those people following the philosophy of science. It's got a name. Some people follow Mayavad, some people follow Buddhism, and some people follow science. And they have what do you call it? They have axiomatic faith in the postulates of Euclid. They accept as axiomatic truth the postulates of Euclid. And they accept direct perception. It's interesting because it would be very, very, very rare to find any physicist, even his Nobel laureate, who's taken a single course on perception at a university. And it's very rare, very strange, because physics is based upon perception, but they don't teach it in their curriculum. They never even discuss it. But if you take a psychology course, in psychology 1A, 1B, you'll have a course on psychopathology, have a course on perception, cognition, comparative psychology, developmental psychology. So 1A, 1B, they'll go through the whole range. So even in the level of the very first little summary you get in that, you see right away that perception is not just a fact. You have so many things that are built into how do you perceive something. I remember when I was taking it there, the guy showed us a little like pendulum, which covered a picture and had a little slot in it about maybe 1/4 the size of space behind it. You make it going back and forth like that, it goes back and forth. So basically you can only see 1/4 of the picture at a time, but you can see very clearly it's a face, right? So your perception is of little fragments, or you're seeing the entire face. Yeah. So right away you see that you're not seeing what you're actually experiencing. And it goes on and on. There's so many subtle details. And this is not only covered in psychology at that kind of gross experimental level, but they also go into neurophysiology and the actual things. For example, look at the corner of the room. one corner there. Pick out, you could, other corner over there. Yeah. What do you see?
Typically, the
Yeah.
where it intersects.
Is the color the same? It's the same.
Yeah, but it appears to be brighter where it intersects.
It might be brighter because the reflection angle is different. So that's possible. It's understandable because the corner of the room, every look at a corner of the room in your house, and one side may be brighter than the other side because the light's shining on it, reflecting off of it better. Okay, but now look right at the section where they come together. You probably won't be able to see this until I tell you.
Yeah, it's white.
It's a little bit brighter, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is from a phenomenon. It's not actually, you take a electronic meter and put it there, it's the same. But behind your lens, there are actually two sense organs, rods and cones. The cones, the cones respond to color. They respond to color, and the rods respond to black and white. So you actually two different sense organs in there. And the cones are more packed up in the center to give you detailed vision. So if you want to see something in detail, have a picture where you're trying to show something in detail, then show it in color. If you're trying to see something with motion, like you see, for example, like sports events, a lot of time people jumping and all that kind of stuff, they'll be in black and white because it's this, so much more intense with the motion and stuff. Like the horses coming across the finish line. Just in color, it's interesting, but black and white, it gives you the motion. So these are very, very practical things. And scientists, physicists, don't know this. Yeah. Okay. So modern physicists, gross materialistic physical physicists, physical scientists and stuff, and people influenced by them because psychology is so much is influenced by it. They would take these stories about, having 40,000 children and everything else as being pure, mythology, right? Fairy tales. So we have to discuss this, But it very clearly is saying this is not happening on the gross level. It's not happening in the current gross season of the changes, the 4 cycles. So in a dream, we may have a dream of so many things, being in a female body and having relations with a snake and becoming the mother of all the snakes. Dreams are like that. There's many things go together, and it's quite natural, and it's more intense than everything else. You wake up from dreams sometimes with terror or just intense hankering that, was so wonderful. So these are our worlds. We can participate in them. When we get off of the gross consciousness of this body, then we can start to experience different lokas, Bhumandala, Bor-mandala, like that, and so on. And so that level C is possible. Okay, they have these, so many children. They're gods and goddesses. And then what happened? Daksha sent them all off to the university to get do austerities, to get a diploma and work hard. And what happened? Yes, Sankirtan devotees went there to the university and said, hey, you should take a look at these books. Look at these pictures. You ever see pictures like that before? So Vijay and so many people are showing up at the universities. And this is it. This is what it means. In brahmachari life, brahmachari, do austerities to get a good career, dharma, artha. So they all left the university and entered the temple. And then after that, Mrs. Daksha had 10,000 children, second time around, okay? And then Narada Muni said, hey, your brothers bought these books for me. Oh, yeah, look at them. And of course, he attracted their mind by telling all kinds of strange stories about there's one woman who lives in a hole or something, has 40,000. They understood it, what it was talking about. So then the news came around that Daksha, Mrs. Daksha had a third set of children. And Narada Muni came and Daksha said, do you want to go preach to the next set? Oh, yeah. And he came out with his guitar kind of disarranged. They're all girls, Daksha. Yeah, Narada, go ahead and preach to them, You win, Daksha. Okay. So Daksha, it says he was very careful to make sure they're all girls and therefore they wouldn't, go off and take brahmacharya. But it's probably gets very, very nice, what do you call it? Nice description here. Okay. I think it's next chapter. So we were talking about Varna ashram. Of Krishna is accessible through deities made of brass and things like that. He's accessible through the sound of the Vedas, and but he's also accessible, through the social relationships. These are also just as substantial as physical laws, but you have to understand them. So, the Varna Ashram Dharma is a very important system. Okay. My dear king. Okay. I think it's chapter 6. So here we are, 6:6, 661. Okay, it says, after the incidents, this is 661, after the incidents concerning the loss of his many sons, Daksha repented his misunderstanding with Narada Muni. Because when Narada Muni came, Daksha was very, very upset. You turned all my sons into brahmacharis. They left and joined the Hare Krishna temple and never going to get married. And you don't know anything. You engaged them in renunciation before they actually had a chance to experience how miserable family life is. There was one man, and he was in the kitchen, kind of lamenting, and his wife came in. He said, well, what are you worried about now? You're always worried about everything. He said, when your father, when your father caught us in the back of my pickup, back of my car, 30 years ago, and said, get married or to my daughter or I'll kill you. He said, yeah, I remember that. We had a wedding. Yes, okay. He said, well, 30 years will be up now. Sorry, something hours ago.
Prison, would have gone to prison for 30 years.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Or go to prison. Go to prison for 30 years or marry my daughter, And he was saying, well, 30 years will be up now. So there's so many stories about, marriage is the best use of a bad bargain. The other one's about the magic lamp on the beach in Los Angeles. And that one. One man was walking along the beach in Los Angeles, and he hit something in the sand and pulled it out. It was a magic lantern. He's just rubbing it to get the sand off, and a genie came out and said, oh my gosh, it was Kali Yuga. Okay, you only get one wish, and you can't wish for any more wishes. What is it? And the guy said, wow, I can ask for anything? And the genie said, look, I'm a genie, I have powers. And he said, well, I've always had this desire to see Hawaii. But whenever I go on a boat, I get seasick. When I fly, and I just can't fly in the air. I'm terrified. So I never can get there. Do you suppose you can maybe make a highway or what's it called, a causeway, raised causeway, so I could drive to Hawaii? And the genie is thinking so much cement, so much pylons and all this kind of stuff. And he said, well, could you maybe ask for something else? And the guy thinks about it. And he said, look, I've been married for 10 years and I've never really been able to satisfy my wife. She's always upset with me. Do you think you could arrange things so my wife is happy? And the genie's thinking, now, how long did you want that causeway? So you can take, there was a girl walking along the beach and she kicked the thing. But this is just it. It's basically, an incompatible situation. And it's a proof of Krishna consciousness that anybody can live with anybody else. And then you actually become happy. Okay, this is good arrangement. This is best arrangement. You become happy in the prison, but you don't really realize it's a prison. I don't want to stay here forever, but it's not time to get out either. I have a lot of emotional problems. If I get out, I'll have no way to make any money. But there's free psychologists in here. Outside, it costs me $100 an hour, and there's occupational training, so I can start to meet my family in regulated conditions. And okay, this is a good place. This is a wonderful free psychologist, free training, and a controlled meeting with my family. Okay, but I don't want to stay here. No, so that's why it's Purnam. Material world is complete. It's very nice. Okay. So anyway, the Prachetas. So when Narada Muni came back, Daksha was criticizing him about everything else, and Narada Muni should not have let that happen because he was committing offenses. But preaching strategies, Narada Muni gives us so many preaching strategies. But he knew that Daksha was a very pious person. He wasn't a real transcendentalist where he could see these things, but he's a very good person. And he knew because of that, as soon as Daksha got this frustration and anger out, that he would feel very, very bad about dealing with a saintly person in this fashion, and then he would be totally accessible to take instructions and so on. So exactly what Narada did, and Daksha then started apologizing, I'm sorry, Then Narada Muni explained to him what had happened. After the incidents concerning the loss of his many sons, Daksha repented his misunderstanding of Narada Muni. Lord Brahma then saw Daksha and instructed him to beget children again. This time Daksha was very cautious to beget female children instead of male children, so that Narada Muni would not disturb them by urging them to accept the renounced order. Females are not meant for a renounced order of life. They should be faithful to their good husbands. So you got to get a good husband here. Okay. For if a husband is competent for liberation, his wife will also achieve liberation with him. As stated in the Shastra, the results of a husband's pious activities are shared by his wife. And also because he's getting up in the morning and banging things around is natural for the... In the Brahmacharya ashram, one time we were in Jayananda in the temple, he said, Krishna consciousness means eating and sleeping in the best of company. He said, sleep in the Brahmacharya ashram and eat prasadam and you have no problems. Because everybody's getting up around you off the floor. You sleep on the floor, everybody's getting up. And you just do the same thing, So husband and wife, if one of them is leading, husband, okay, then automatically everybody follows. Kids get up, they want to go with you also. As stated in the Shastra, okay, therefore a woman's duty is to be very chaste and faithful to her husband. Then without separate endeavor, she will share in all the profit the husband earns. Okay. This is the most, where is the most feminist place on the face of the earth?
Chile.
Huh?
Chile.
Yes. Who wants to go there? As far as I know, I mean, I don't know the whole world. But in my experience, the feminist movement is most strongest in Chile, and they're exporting it even, And it's Prabhupada says in Kali Yuga, because the animals and the women and everything else are unprotected, the women will revolt from this and try to become independent. And so from our perspective, it's just quite natural what's happening, because the exploitation and everything else and maltreatment is just incredible, And so because of that, then, okay, they form these societies. And so we're not opposed to this. We're saying, we understand why you're doing this. And it's good in a lot of ways, But we're saying we have something even better. We're offering that, and we're trying to implement it. We're trying. We have our own problems and faults like that and so on. But then is that, that everybody should have a proper position and acting according to their psychosocial nature. Who was stronger, Julius Caesar or Cleopatra? Yes, I said that. Cleopatra. Someone says, gives directly that example. He was so powerful that, I don't know how many, what is it? All the Western civilized world was, afraid of him in so many ways like that. But Prabhupada said he came under the control of a slight Cleopatra. Women as a source of inspiration for men are more powerful than men. Okay, Behind every good man, it's an American phrase. Behind every good man is a good woman. Okay.
So behind
Behind every good man is a good woman. Okay. Behind every bad man, bad woman. Many times men are kind of neutral like that. Go stay in the forest and associate with other people and other guys and just material advancements. Why do it? Like that. Yeah. When I was married, my last lifetime, we finally found a house. We were traveling. We went on traveling all over the place. So I got a tent. This is why my wife divorced me. It was fun for a while. I got a su teepee, and the tent poles were about 3/4 as long as this room, and had a canvas, had the canvas sewn and stuff. We went off in a truck and we're driving around to parks and stuff, and you tie 3 poles together and then stand them up. You lean the rest of the poles on them, and you grab the rope and kind of swing around on the thing. It's fun. Tie them together, and you push up the canvas, and you have a house. About as wide as this room, circular. Then you put the canvases on the outside of the poles. So on the inside of the poles, then you take another canvas, which is just about waist high, and that goes all the way around, and it kind of goes on the floor. Then you put your animal hide or whatever on that, and now you're sitting in the bottom of a little cone, right? But when the fire, it tends to go up, and it sucks air under the outside of the tent, in between the inside of the thing, and pulls up. So there's no smoke in the bottom of the thing, and it's all going out the top. It's very, very, very clever, very nice. And so it was kind of, traveling around for a girl. I realized it's, it's fun for some time. So finally we ended up in Sacramento and found a house there, and it was, used, and looked at it. Okay, we'll buy this house. And it was kind of an older place, this and that. So we're there maybe for 1 week, and my good wife called her sister-in-law Peach. so we met Peach at the Greyhound bus station, and took her there. The next morning they were banging on me, woke me up early, and and drove me off to go, go get paint chips, and then to tear up the carpet and look at it and stuff. And sure enough, under this dirty old carpet, there was a nice hardwood floor, and I took up all the cleats along the edges and stuff. They kept me busy all day, So the next day on Sunday, when we put Peach back on the thing, we had a hardwood floor. The walls were painted, and we had curtains. And I was looking at, wow, it's okay, it's okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So everybody has their inclination, tendency, potency, and understanding Varna ashram is how everybody can work together and cooperate for the purpose of self-realization. So all the daughters of what's his name? Daksha. Yeah. How many were there?
60.
Huh?
60.
60? Not 40. Okay. And how many were married to Kashyapa?
13.
A lot, no? Somebody 20 or something. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're 5 little girls growing up together, you like each other. I mean, if you don't like each other, you're attached to each other, fighting, and, okay. It's very natural then to all get married to the same guy and stuff. And, okay, then, you can carry on fighting and carrying out. Now we can, yeah. It's very, girls get very attached to their father's family and stuff. It's more convenient, You can all talk about things, about being married and stuff. So, because what's it, Devaki, she was married to Vasudeva, and all of her sisters were also married and stuff. So it's like, to our Western culture, it sounds kind of strange, but if you can just think about it a little bit and talk about it and stuff, you can see that, well, it might work. In America, is there any polygamy in America?
Yes.
The Mormons, yeah, actually the Latter-day Saints. And where do they reside? Mostly, yeah, Utah, yeah. So some town, maybe population of 5,000 or something, And the chief of police, the mayor, the editor for the newspaper, the hospital, they'll all be Mormons. It'd be like 70% Mormons. And it will be like an open secret that several people have polygamistic marriages. So brother so and so has 3 wives, but it's like not legal and stuff. But everybody knows and stuff. But it's just it's an open secret, and nobody probably talks about it. Because they had to abandon that before they were allowed to become a state. So, and every now and again, it's just like every now and again, maybe every 5 years or something, some newspaper will do an expose and go in and reveal the facts. Okay, and it's after 5 years, people want interested again to hear some exciting story about polygamy. So one lady went to one town, and she investigated, and she found all these facts going on and the polygamy going on. But it was bizarre, and she said, but actually, when I talked to the women, she said most of them were quite happy with the situation. It was like most of them were quite happy with the situation. So she was thinking, Anyway, it's a kind of a detailed discussion, and I was presenting the thesis that this is the only thing. Is one of the major things. It's not, to me, 2 things are necessary to solve the problems in the world: polygamy and brahmacharya. Right? Out of 5 guys and 5 girls, one of the 5 guys should get married. You draw straws, and the loser has to get married. He marries the 5 girls. Okay, and they have 1 baby each. It's enough? Yeah, 1 kid each. That means they have 5 kids. They can share and stuff. Yeah, but okay, maybe they're simple people. Okay, it's enough. It's enough handling 5 kids, growing them up and getting them civilized. So now 10 people have become 5 people, right? In the next generation. So automatic population control is automatically, produced. What's this? Back in the Middle Ages, and even in the West, there was polygamy, and so many people were entering monasteries. One king in Greece, for example, he said he was more happy when he saw young men going into the monasteries rather than the army, because that was the real strength of his country, as people dedicated to cultural values and giving free medical care to everybody else. And it doesn't mean you have no sexual relations. Son and mother is a sexual relation, right? Otherwise, it's defined by the fact that you were, born from that woman. So it's a sexual relation. Brothers and sisters are also sexual relations. But the only one we care about is this conjugal one. And Walt Disney starts promoting it from 5 years old in his movies. This is perfection. So you're in the monastery, and you're treating the girls like your sisters and like your daughter, and it's very, very nice, friendly relationship. It's cold in the monastery, so some of the girls are bringing sweaters for the monks. Very in a very friendly, nice situation, very, very happy and stuff. And a few people, getting married and then having children. So there's automatically, say, population control by brahmacharya, and the other side by polygamy. So I was mentioning this to Virabahu quite a few years ago, and he said, yes, Hanuman Swami, we all know this, but please do not talk about this in public, okay? Because, the Hare Krishnas are promoting polygamy. Yeah, well, we are. Yeah. And you can see, so much what the world's populations are coming about because too many people want, are struggling for the same resources. Then after that, of course, killing animals and everything else. But that's, in some places, one guy from Wisconsin was talking about how we were preaching having a healthy diet and this and that and everything else. And he said it may be possible for people in California, but no place else could you afford that almost, because animals in the desert, there's nothing to eat for a human being. But goats and sheep run around nibbling on all this grass all day long and come back, and they collect all the energy in their bodies. In the wintertime, there's nothing to eat, So animals, you can slaughter the animals in the wintertime. So it's in some ways, it's the natural way things that happen in these uninhabitable parts of the world. Is that, it's probably said you could eat fish. In Hawaii, Japan told the Japanese people you could eat fish. Nothing else to eat, but don't kill cows and so on. So if you're studying Prabhupada's books, the Bhagavatam, everything else, political science, economics, right away, that's where we have the strongest amount of information. Jyotish, and what else? Vastu and things like this. We not so much emphasized, but they're there, But the main thing is first thing is Gandharva Veda, singing and dancing. Then after that, Vadaivi Varna Ashram. And we had just so much information on that. Just, Pancha Tantra, Hita Padesh, Dharma Shastras, Bhagavatam, Mahabharata. It's just right there. And if somebody wants to organize a whole curriculum in political science, a whole thing about how to organize reality. Yes, okay. Are you ready? Become the king? Become the queen? Princess? Yes. Yeah. But Brahmanas, of course, Prabhupada says the Brahmanas should not adopt, right there, should not adopt, this is light of the Bhagavad, the professions of Vaishyas and Kshatriyas, but they should inspire them to act properly and so on. So that's our job, through literature and everything else. And preaching on the street, person to person, but also Prabhupada very much encouraging as much as we can do it to preach to people more higher people in society. So, any questions or comments from our audience?
The strange thing is.
Oh, who cares? Talk louder.
Yeah. Strange thing is, polygamy is considered bad, but then giving up one and going on even 100 times, it's legal.
Yes.
It's not a problem at all.
No. You're making this point that polygamy is rejected, but Hridayananda Maharaj made this point. He said that if you marry 4 different women 5 different women, and then divorce them and leave them all on their own, whatever else like that, it's totally legal. But if you marry 2, you go to prison and protect them nicely. It's just like crazy situation. Yeah. Wow.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances and respects to you and all devotees.
1 second here. I'm trying to. It's not happening. Okay. Yeah. Who's talking?
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Dasa.
Okay.
Maharaj. So
Oh, there
my
it
question
is.
is regarding. Yes, my question is regarding the. You were speaking about this kind of subjective aspect of reality. So I was wondering about Krishna, and I was wondering, is there any objective form of Krishna? Because as I understand,
There is.
yes, because as I understand, the way that we depict Krishna is mostly how the gopis sees him, but then Yashodama see Krishna in another way, in kind of other aspect, in another form.
Yes.
I was wondering, is there any like absolute objective form, or the form of Krishna is subjective and it's very related to the way the bhaktas sees him?
One thing is, Prabhupada says that the Virat Rup is the objective material incarnation of Krishna. So
Right.
the grossest level, and of course this is a subject matter. Prabhupada is saying this is the subject matter of science, physics, physical sciences, and everything else. And that's what they try to do. They try and say, yeah, well, we all have a common experience of this, and therefore we can confirm what we're experiencing, But of course, even that is from different perspectives. There's a whole investigations of how science actually works. So that's the grossest level, is that the objective material incarnation of Krishna is the Virat Rup, and that can be experienced by so many people like that. But then Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam Tam Tam. No, that's the other one. What's the other one? As he surrendered unto me.
Ye tamam prapadyante.
Ye yata mam prapajanste tam tataiva bhajami aham. Yeah. So right there we see that it's relative. And so even up to the level of the gopis, Chandravali sees Krishna one way and Radharani sees another way. And so everybody, sees Krishna from a different perspective. When Ramananda Roy is starting to talk about this, right, then he goes to the different babas of the Brjabasis, and he's in different ways of approaching Krishna. And he says, from tatasta sta, from being fixed in a neutral position, one can distinguish which of these rasas is more intense and make a hierarchy, But then he says, but who's actually in tatasta sta? Everybody's in their rasa, their feelings. And so he said, actually, the best rasa is your rasa. The best rasa for you is your rasa. And so that's one perspective, is that everybody has their particular relationship with Krishna. And ultimately, like you're saying, there is no, everybody. No, there is no like one, like what do you call it, standard form of Krishna, which is this is the standard form. Even the president is there a president in Chile? Have you got a president in Chile?
Piñera.
Okay, presidentess. Okay, yeah. And so everybody, will see her from a different perspective, no? Her family members, her children, like that. And so always everybody has individual. Okay. So is that okay? Or are we still looking for
That is perfect.
The
That's
objective.
perfect, Maharaj. Thank you very much. Yes, because I was wondering about the example that you gave, because I was thinking, for example, when I see you, I'm seeing from a perspective different that yes, right. For example, Srinivasacharya Prabhu is watching you. So even in this level, the way I see you is different than the way other people sees you. So I was thinking that even in the spiritual plan, maybe it's even heightened. I mean, like everyone sees Krishna from their own perspective. So yeah, thank you very much, Maharaj.
Even Krishna sees Krishna from different perspectives.
Right. Right. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
I'll turn my camera here.
Jagat Guru Das.
Yeah. Thank you for talking. Very inspiring every day. Very inspiring by you. I have some way to support that you said your thesis about Chile.
Oh.
And NBC News recently, just 6 days ago, released this article about Chilean people making history because they start work on first constitution equally drafted by women and men. So I will send you this news from CBN, because in the new constitution of Chile, it's the same amount of people from different genders. There's women and men is equal represented in this.
What about indigenous people in the South? Were they also involved in making the Constitution?
Yes. They had actually reserved spots in this place. Actually, the president is a woman, Mapuche woman. Actually, she's the president of the group.
Making progress.
Assembly.
Yeah.
And so my it's a comment, I think. Yesterday we had this Srimad Bhagavatam study group reading club, and in the first canto, 4th chapter, 25 shloka, this discussion about women, Shudras, and friends of the twice born, and how is out of compassion the great sage Vyasadeva thought it wise that this world that is good enable man to achieve the ultimate goal of life, so they create a Mahabharata for these people. So there appears that the twice born, no? So two borns, two samskaras, the Garbhadana samskara and the second one, the initiation. So my question is, considering that the Shudras and the not Shudras, the friends, the Dvija Bandhus, they're not considered smart and intelligent because they're only friends of Brahmanas, no? Sons, actually Prabhupada said in Spanish, and remember, amigos, hijos ineptos de Brahmanas. And so my question is, if you're not Brahmana by birth, and instead you're Brahmana because your qualities and even these samskaras qualify you to be a Brahmana, it's not the truth that if you're not Shudra by Brahmana, by birth, or you're not a woman by birth, and you're not Kshatriya Vaishya by birth, and contrary, you're like that, you have this resignation because your qualities and the thing that you're learning and your samskara that you receive. So this is I found a kind of contradiction in this. I think it's not like that, but I will understand better considering this purport.
Yeah, I kind of understand. You know, your father wasn't a lawyer, was he?
Not at all.
Your father was a farmer. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So your example is like it's like a the laws, looking at the laws and stuff, and that's the
What was the question?
because it's more of a comment. He's actually asking what the question was, but it wasn't a question. It's more of a comment that Dvija Bandhus and everybody else can become brahmanas. So it's not by birth that you're a woman or a shudra or something else like that. You can all become brahmanas, So that's the main point in all these considerations. I think all these conflicts over women gurus and all this kind of stuff usually occurs amongst devotees who are not really following devotional practices in a healthy fashion, because when you follow them in a healthy fashion, all these things are kind of obvious what should go on, and everybody treats everybody else in a kind of practical sense, and mature, and so on, so that's my thought, my observation. And then you make some decision. You talk about it, what's going to go on, how's it going to go on? Okay, and it's reasonable. Is you can there. So that's the whole point, is that when you're when you come in, what's the word there? Kirata, Huna, Polinda, Polkosa, Yavana, something Yasayaha, Kashyadayaha. It's a verse that says that Huns, Turks, all these different races of people, and those addicted to sinful activities, even software engineers, who speak an incomprehensible language that no human being could understand. Even they can be reformed, by this process, But because that's how powerful it says. Because it says the devotees of the Lord Prabhavishnave Namaha are so powerful, and so that's what happened. The people coming, you could say they're born in unfortunate circumstances, but they came in contact with the pure devotee, and he directed them in a proper way. They became purified. Somebody, devotees comment they're addicted to tobacco or something like this and that, but then the amazing that the addiction went away. It's amazing. It's amazing how people could actually change their habits like that, because Prabhupada established a nice program. God Krishna's mercy. So as long as we're following that, then we can stay properly situated. Otherwise, we can be ISKCON Dvija Bandhu, like that, where, we're initiated in ISKCON, but now we're not following the process, and so we're friends of the twice born, and so we have to be careful about following it. Then at that point, Prabhupada is saying that you're no longer a Shudra or a woman, and in fact, you're not even a Brahmana, because you're now in a position. Prabhupada says now you're in a position to dictate to high class Brahmins, devotees. They can actually tell them how things are, because they're following, you're worshiping the deity, everything else, and you're realizing personal relationships with Krishna, and so, that's where and this basically is kind of like a minor detail, is it raining outside or not? Well, okay, it's raining. I'm gonna get an umbrella. Okay, have I got a male body or a female body? I got a female body. Am I a Shudra or a Brahmana? Okay, it's just something you just take care of, but it doesn't really concern anybody that much. Is that kind of your perspective also?
Yes, it makes sense for me, actually, because one of the discussions that arose is that yes, if you check the great thinkers in the history, like from Buddha, Lao Tse, Nietzsche, and all of them are men. But one of the reasons is because the women at that time they couldn't even attend the universities. Some of them they are not allowed to read even. And a lot of their societies. So this and one of the reasons is also because a lot of abuse against the women in the universities. Even still now, we're supposed to civilized society, but still now some teachers and classmates abuse of women in universities. I attended university, so I know that. But one of the reasons, but it happens. So maybe if they're not trained and receiving the preparation and everything, maybe for this reason they are not in the list. It's not because they by nature. These things that I thought I arose yesterday, so I put in. So I thank you a lot, because your perspective put me in a wide perspective. to me.
Okay. Yeah. How many female has any woman ever become world chess champion?
No, because it's
Yeah.
evidently there are difference. This is the problem with the feminists. They're not even they're not very good with biology. They're not doesn't like it too much because of this. Because
one devotee, actually, I've got his name now. Very nice devotee, and he was kind of a little bit like angry about the battle of the sexes going on. So the battle of the sexes. It's always been going on. But our point is the battle of the sexes is you're never not going to get rid of it because it's all the way in Goloka. Radharani, and that's what's going on. This always this combat and they're fighting, but there it's fun. It's like again, the Rabindra Soup gave us examples. So some guy comes out of the jungle, he sees two guys playing tennis, he's watching for a while, and he says, "Come here, guys, come here." And they come over and he said, "If you take the net down, it'll be easier." So you tell Radha and Krishna, well, if you don't fight, it'll be a lot better. And he beats you and chases you out. And it's fun. So and it's purifying, it's clarifying. And Prabhupada says one should not be afraid of arguing over these things because it makes the mind strong to think about Krishna. So there's no problem about arguing about the position of men and women in society. It's always changing. So there needs to be discussions, But if they're carried on in the spirit, higher perspective of trying to serve Krishna, everything else, then it becomes, interesting. It becomes productive and so on, rather than nobody's trying to exploit anybody else. That's the main principle. Is saying that we cannot establish anything really in Kali Yuga without becoming devotees. Unless the devotees are guiding it, other people won't be able to establish even a functional Varna ashram. So that's the whole point. Vishwanath Chakravarti probably would say, if you chant Hare Krishna, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. If you don't chant Hare Krishna, it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. As you said, Grihastha or whatever. One time they had the number one rated chess player in the world. Carlos Magnus or something. He'd been number one for 10 years. It's a long time. And the number one female rated female player. I forgot what the competition was, but right away it was like, okay. And they had who's one of the biggest tennis players? Ferrar, what's his name?
Roger Federer, Gurudeva.
Yeah, and then he was had a doubles thing, female doubles, along with Venus, whatever their name was. It was the same thing, like the number one rated female player, and they sold out like anything like that and stuff. And it was very interesting, so very seeing, number one female tennis player, number one male tennis player and stuff, fighting away.
No, that's a good point you mentioned. It was there, Gurudeva. In tennis history, there were movies there because it happened really. They challenged, they challenged the number one, and because the prize money is a vast difference between a male player and a female player. So they challenged it, but it's been going on since 60, 70 years now. So
Okay, maybe we'll go ahead and stop now and go ahead and cook breakfast and lunch and dinner for Lord Nrsingadev. Okay, and Lord Nrsingadev can maybe figure out. I guess he's married also. Who's Mrs. Nrsingadev? Okay, she cooks macaroni with tomato sauce for Lord Nrsingadev for lunch. Okay, so thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Gurudeva. Thank you very much.
May everybody have 40,000 children.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you.
Thank you, Gurudeva.